What's going on, everybody? This is Waning Moonlight, and have you ever thought that Dark Souls 2 is too easy? You get all these overpowered armor sets, weapons, spells, and just steamroll the game? Well, I want to make things as challenging as possible, so today we're going to be beating Dark Souls 2 with only our starting equipment, and with two extra rules. There is no upgrading weapons, and we cannot use the Estus because we don't start with it. So there's no changing armor, no changing weapons, no rings but the cat ring when we need it, to get down to the gutter, and the king's ring. Any other consumable item is good to use, life gems, bright bugs, etc. And yeah, to start, I picked the sword master class because he starts out with two weapons. Now, this is imperative because you can't upgrade weapons or change them out, our damage numbers could be pretty low. So having two swords that we can dual wield later is really going to help increase our damage number. And they're both already at +1, so we're not missing out on anything. Now for our route, I kind of realized, because I can't get the Seldora set, I cannot really do the Rotten Farm to get the million souls, which means we need to go and fight all four Lord Souls. Which means going to the Iron Keep, which I've not been to the Iron Keep. I'm gonna be real in 5 months. So I mean I know my way around, but it's been forever since I've had to go there, and I'm not looking forward to it. But getting a little ahead of myself. For now, we're heading to go knock out the Dragon Rider. We just gotta wait, make our way through, and then have a flawless edit into the boss room. Here, of course, we bait out the attack, and I don't know why he didn't fall there, but then he falls here. There's specific positioning for that, and I just kind of given up on learning it. Who needs to learn it as long as it works, kind of. So we keep going. Heading into the Forest of Fallen Giants, I run up here to challenge the Pursuer. I always like this arena better. It's big, it's wide, and, just feels cool to challenge him here. However, big disadvantage is other enemies can just join on in. So I ended up getting tag teamed by these two guys and lost. Sucks, but that's life. And you can only challenge him there once, so that means we're off to the giant. And it's crazy. He's supposed to be the first boss of the game, and he's the third one I'm fighting. Anyways, I keep whacking at his heels until he makes it drop. Honestly, not much to say. With the upgraded weapon, you kind of just steamroll through him. But yeah, now we're back to the Pursuer. I tried to hit him with the Ballista, but I've never been able to hit that right. So I went ahead and tried to bait him back out. Because I believe you're supposed to have him next to that, but didn't work. It's whatever. I tried. But yeah, I just kind of circled around him, what he likes to do, just walk to the right, and he whiffs every attack. Now that we're here, of course, in the Lost Bastille, our first stop is a quick and easy one, or at least it should be, because we are needing a fragrant branch of yore. We can actually pick one up right here, and we can fight the Pursuer. Now we just beat him, so we can do it again, right? Well, we can, because I'm that good. That was a little false foreshadowing. But anyways, we're off to the Ruined Sentinels, and things go pretty solid. I honestly always forget each one of them has their own name, which is weird, because to my understanding, they're empty vessels, so I don't know why they got names, but, whatever. I dropped down a little earlier than I would like, but things stayed fine. Luckily, both the Ruined Sentinels had thrown their shields, so they weren't blocking any hits. Now, honestly, I've never seen them both throw shields. I've only seen one of them do it per fight, so I thought that was kind of cool to see them both shieldless. But anyways, they're taken down, And we can keep on going to the last Bastille, where we have another important stop, actually, right here in this room. Not only do we get to rest up, but we immediately get to drop down and take on another pursuer. We beat two pretty easily, so how hard can it be for the third one? Pretty hard. But don't worry, second try, for the final time, we're able to put down the pursuer, which is great. And nothing else really happened, so we're skipping on ahead right to the boss. And here is when you kind of really see how our little damage is, going to be going on later. Like, here it's fine, doing about 100 damage. Still can see some yellow. But the realization here was really hitting, this is basically all the damage we're doing. It's not going to get that much higher up here. But I'll put that thought in the back of my head for now, because we're fine. We're alright. And we get our first Great Soul Embraced, which means we can run through here, grab whatever, and move on to the next way. Now, with her souls, I was able to get enough money to level up my dexterity to dual wield. Power stancing is going to be really handy because we can't upgrade our weapons. This was an easy way to bring up our damage, as I said earlier. So, right now, we're kind of already peaking a little bit. And it's kind of cool, actually. Though these are two different sword types, you're still able to dual wield them. Unlike in Elden Ring, each weapon you can dual wield weapons in different classes. And it's so cool that you can do that. And they each have different movesets depending on which weapon's in your right hand. You kind of see we have a bit more of a I don't know if I should call it a dexterous moveset. But a little bit later, I swap what weapon's in my right hand, and the moveset's completely different. And Nazca's down. Honestly, there wasn't much to say, so that's why I kind of skimmed it a little bit. But using the souls from her, we become rich enough to buy the cat ring, which we're only going to have on for a little bit later. Now, it was at this moment, I'm in an apartment for school, and I had scheduled some maintenance, and people just started coming in. So, right here, I'm trying to fight these guys while people are, pulling around lights, messing with the blinds, drilling stuff around. So, I'm pretty distracted. So, I kind of, really got jumped. And these guys kept doing this spell that raises their defense and then healing immediately. And so, I kind of got screwed. I died, 3 times to them total. So, I was like, okay, screw it. I stopped playing, went to class. First attempt, once I got back, I take them down. So that's what matters. But from here, we're running on to go fight the Dukesdeer Freya, who's great. I think the Dukesdeer Freya is probably my favorite of the Lord Souls in this game. Now, I'm curious, do you guys prefer, what 4 main bosses is your favorite from, the Dark Souls trilogy? Do you prefer the Dark Souls 1, Lord Souls, Dark Souls 2s, or the Dark Souls 3, Lords of Cinder? Because I really think the Lords of Cinder are my favorite out of the groups, but I could see why some people might prefer the Dark Souls 1 main 4. But either way, Dukesdeer Freya went down pretty easily. Now, because of the spiders in the room, I could only have one weapon on hand because I need to have the torch to keep them all away, which kind of lowered our DPS, but I would rather not have to deal with the spiders and the fight take a little bit longer than, have the spiders jumping me. And it worked out in the end. She did that bite move a lot, but it's fine. But now that we're here, I make sure to pick up the Great Soul. I do not want to forget that. But now, we head on to the gutter using our cat ring. It will forever be in my pocket for the rest of the run. So here we are, the Rotten. With how many times I've farmed against this man, I know his moveset pretty well. Now, here you can really see our damage is it's kind of low. Sometimes it's weird. In this game, it only shows you your damage of your most recent hit. And when you power stance, sometimes it shows you only one sword damage. Sometimes it like shows the total damage. I'm not sure what causes it to do differently, but either way, you can kind of see our damage is alright, doing about each, I think it's like each weapon doing about 80. So it only takes a quick minute, and I finish him off with some heavy attacks. So with him done, we gotta make our way towards the Earthen Peak. I hate the Iron Keep, so I was not looking forward to this. But as we take this moment to run up, I want to take this second to remind you to subscribe. This video was done, made, edited, voiced over all by me. And it's a lot of work, so if you enjoy it, I would appreciate a like and or comment. Subscription would be preferable too, if you could. I do challenge runs a couple times a month, so I make plenty of videos, and I make videos on other topics too, like Zelda, Fire Emblem, Guilty Gear, etc. So maybe check those out, see if you want to watch them more. But anyways, now that we're here for the Skeleton Lords, I always like to go for the one that gives me the wheel skeletons first, because then I can kill the other two and then just deal with a giant horde of skeletons. But I never remember who's who, so we get the skeletons to start off with. And I felt like there was more than usual. I don't know if like the first one you kill, if he drops more skeletons or something, but I felt like that was a bigger army than normal. Takes me a good bit of running them around till there's one guy left. And coincidentally, the guy I wanted to kill first was the one I get last. And usually there's 3 skeleton wheels, so it was weird to see 2. I don't think they changed it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. It's been forever. Here we go. Time to fight the Covetous Demon. And honestly, this was more bullying than like a fight. Thanks to the quick weapons I got here, I just kind of spin around him, spamming heavy attack on his side till he goes down. And then for a flawless transition, we're here to fight Medusa, who sometimes she could put up a good challenge. I feel like her hitboxes are really weird with her like lunge attack. But honestly, she kind of just did that all match. She did like one head throw, and other than that, zero magic. Towards the end, I get a poise break, went around back to spam some attacks, and she didn't like that. But no matter how much she did or didn't like being hit, trust me when I say I hate being here more. So I'm gonna not be there. I want to level up a little bit more, because I believe going for the 4 Lord Souls would have you more underleveled than grinding a million souls. So I wanted to go ahead and take the Rotten out one more time. I pop a Bright Bug just to help with some damage, and things go okay as I can. Damage isn't like awful against him if I just do heavy attacks. And it took me about 6 minutes, but he goes down. So okay, my footage got a little corrupted for this section, but I died about like 20 times in the Iron Keep, so luckily right before I found the boss, I was able to realize it was having some issues, fixed it, and it's time to get going into it. Now, it's kind of crazy. As much as I don't mind, as much as I hate the Iron Keep, I don't mind the old Iron King. I think his boss fight's really cool. But this time, his fight was actually kind of annoying. You know, obviously, my weapons range is pretty limited, so I need to wait for his heavy slams. However, he spent 80% of the fight breathing fire. I think he, like, legitimately, I spent so much time just running around because he would fire breath, then fire breath, and then, believe it or not, he would fire breath again. And then, surprise, surprise, he would fire breath again. Like, yeah, 8-minute fight. And that's because he just kept doing this over and over. I mean, like, there is a way I can kind of hit his head when he gets down to do it, or his hand. But like I try not to get to the edge of the fire pits that often. So it did not really work out like too well. But eventually I got him close enough. He goes for a hand slam and I'm able to get him done. So that's our fourth Lord Soul, which means we can get going. I grab that item and go ahead and get jump scared by Aldia. And now we're at Drangleic Castle. Alright, how much worse can this be? We're almost done. I popped the Bright Bug doing the Bright Bug glitch, which, if you're unfamiliar, is when wet, activate a Bright Bug, then close the game, and then it'll last forever. So having the Bright Bug made this fight, it's already an easy fight, so this made it like a super easy fight. Even though I got kind of comboed a little bit, once they were both gone, it was easy. I victory danced on over to the bonfire. Warp to level up, completely forgetting that if you teleport with the Bright Bug glitch activated, it deactivates, which, that sucks. Now, nobody ever talks about, but this freaking room where you have to kill these, like, mannequins is insane. Maybe, I don't know if it's just a skill issue, but legitimately, I die more often than not in that room. But embarrassing deaths aside, it's time for the Looking Glass night. We went ahead and popped the Bright Bug glitch again because I know I'm going to need it. With his summon, if he pulls out the big armored one, I'm probably screwed. These weapons don't really do too much poise, which is actually why I swapped which one's in my right hand. I put the straight sword in my right hand because they seem to do a lot more stance damage. And I would kind of need that. However, doing more stance damage or not did not help me too much in this fight because, believe it or not, they're both pretty heavily armored and two small swords ain't going to make up for that. So I died once and then I came back again and got a little greedy with my healing and kind of suffered for it. Alright, third tries the charm. My second attempt, I didn't have a Bright Bug activated, so I put one on for the third. And luckily, I got the Spear guy. And the Spear guy, he's my buddy. He's so much easier than his Great Sword brother. So I'm a big fan of him. And so all I kind of had to do was circle around a little bit just to try and separate him. And when I saw my chance, I took him down. Now, he was able to summon again, but he was like low enough that I was like, I'm just going to solo him down. And when I did that, fight was over. And now it's time for the Shrine of Amana. Now, honestly, this armor is like pretty terrible. I've not talked about it much, but its defenses are horrendous. Now it doesn't help that I'm getting jumped by multiple people, but legitimately, one magic blast that's like a quarter of my HP. I'm not used to it doing that much. But anyways, now that we're through, I gotta make my way to the Demon of Song, which is past these guys. Now, their orange smoke breaks, it does durability damage. I was like, well, I'm sure I'll be fine if I go quick enough, and they broke my armor. Which means I'm doing this fight defenseless. Which, with how bad the armor already is, it's probably not that much different. And honestly, I didn't get hit that much at all. Just 2 or 3 times. But I can heal that off pretty quickly. And the Demon of Song it's not that aggressive. So I had the opportunity to heal. But it really showed my damage is starting to really drop off. Even heavier than it was before. Which is going to be a problem. But either way, Aldia shows up, I ignore whatever the heck he has to say, and goes back to repair my armor. And now it's going to be time for Bell's stat. Now this is going to be terrible. Not only is my weapon damage already falling off, but he has a way to increase his defense. So, dual wielding wise, I think the damage is okay. I think my total damage was about 100 a swing. Chain awful. when he went into his second phase, I decided it was probably wise for me to pop a Bright Bug, which helped for a little bit. But near the end of the fight, the curved sword broke, so I ended up just one-handing the straight sword. But then that broke, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go back to dual wielding broken weapons. Now, durability is going to be a problem. Some people might ask, well, why not grab repair powder? And that's because I forgot repair powder existed. I've recently started a Minecraft world, and I spent the entire time thinking, what do I want my building to look like? And in that, I completely forgot a bunch of ways, like, to get, like, resin for the weapons or repair powder and all that. So I kind of made this challenge run a little harder on myself than I needed to. But anyways, it's time for the Guardian Dragon. We run past the Invader and keep on going to, well, as previously stated a second ago, Guardian Dragon. Now, he spends so much time in the air, and this was like another 8-minute fight because he never wanted to be on the ground, so I'm chasing him around to do my like 20 damage a hit. Because again, I don't do that much. And usually this fight is not without too much issue. But I will say my greed got the best of me. It happens every time you play Dark Souls. Just one more hit speaks to you in the back of your mind, and then you end up getting comboed to death. So, because I had warped here, actually to get to Aldius Keep, that is when I finally remembered, oh right, Vengarl, give me lightning paper. Because I figured if I do more damage, he'll be done quicker. And doing more damage means less swings, which means my weapons are least likely to break. So, kind of a helper. But anyways, we make our way, we talk to the dragon, get the Ashen Mist Heart, and teleport to the last giant. Now, with these last few fights being about like 8 minutes or so, I was nervous because if you don't know, you can only be in a memory for 5 minutes, which means there's a time limit on this thing. If I can't beat him fast enough, then the run would be dead. So, throw on some lightning paper and I lock in. Luckily, the damage is actually pretty good. And because he's not that mobile, we can easily just like spam attack underneath his feet. And so the fight actually goes pretty well. So I just kind of stand there, swing around, spam heavy attack from time to time. But remember how I mentioned earlier how greed gets to all of us? Yeah. He was right there, man. Second attempt doesn't go much better. I take some damage. I'm like, oh, you know what? I could probably heal that. And then I get backhanded. I've never been backhanded by him. Like, that was crazy disrespectful. Luckily, just like someone else, we got our third tries to charm. Everyone knows it's the best way to do it. But this really goes to show, like the lightning paper definitely does help. And I honestly think it was a necessary grab. But we're going on to probably the worst fight of the run now. So, we got a big issue right here. Their names are Throne Watcher and Throne Defender. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this fight, it's obviously two people. That's why I said two names. If you kill one of them and you don't kill the other one within a certain amount of time, they will revive the other one. Which, by the way, this gotta be cruel. If you think about Ornstein and Smo, if you like damage Ornstein but then kill Smo, Ornstein heals all the way back up. So some people might have gone into this boss fight with that mentality. You know, only damage Defender, then kill the Throne Watcher, assuming the other one goes into a second phase. But instead, they just revive the other one to full HP. Like, that's crazy. But anyways, I realized with my low damage and a very high probability of my weapons breaking, is that I would probably need to summon. He would really help make up a lot of the damage that I will be definitely lacking. However, not only did I have a bit of a skill issue, but so did Benhart. He kind of sucks. So I had to sit down and think like, okay, what can I do? And I thought about it, and it was like, well, I could go get Vengarl. He's pretty cool. So that means to get Vengarl, I have to make my way back into the Shaded Ruins, go ahead and unfreeze this lion dude, and beat off his body. Wait a minute. He's actually a pretty cool fight. And I actually learned this. So, did you know that when you kill his body and just drop down, his head's like right there? Who knew they were so close together? But anyways, I was like, okay, Vengarl is more defensive. He has a giant shield. So I thought this would probably be fine. He draws the aggro, I come in and do the damage. Well, fun fact, Vengarl doesn't know that a shield's not for show. He just holds it the entire time and like does not put it up whatsoever. So I was just kind of realizing, I gave it a chance. I tried running it, but he was sucking. He's doing nothing. I was like, okay, I need to quit out and reload this. That didn't work, so I had to actually close the game. And apparently it has that cool effect, which I did not know that, so I wanted to share that because I thought it looked cool. This time, I'm summoning both of the boys, lightening up my sword, and really just down on my hands and knees praying this works, because this is like my 8th attempt at them, and I only had like 2 humanity left. So I go ahead, I try it, and things actually went better. Not good, but it went better. They both died, and eventually it was this close. Throne Watcher is about like 3 to 4 hits away. Defender's like 10 hits, because again, like, though that health bar is low, I'm doing no damage. So okay, my mindset was kind of like, I gotta bait the defender away, get some hits, but I don't want to hit the Watcher on accident. And it took a solid minute, like legitimately running them around. But after about about a minute or two of just playing, monkey in the middle, running around, I was able to get them close enough where I was like, alright, this is just go for it range. I decided to take out the Watcher first because the defender doesn't have a shield. So he won't block any hits, easier to take down. So there goes Watcher, and after a heavy attack, they both go down. Which means we got Nashandra left, but before that, I need to hit the Homeward Bone to heal. I went ahead and popped back the Bright Bug glitch. And as I run down, I want to take this moment to once again ask if you're enjoying the video to like and or subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any other challenge run ideas, by the way. So, as I also like to recap the run a little bit, and I gotta say, this challenge was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I really thought having 2 weapons would actually make it easy. You're swinging around 2 weapons. They both have their own damage values that are, pretty solid. But more often than not, I was just doing like double-digit damage, which to me doesn't sound right whatsoever. I've done Broken Sword runs, and the Dark Souls 2 Broken Sword run, I did more damage with that than these 2 swords combined, which is crazy. But I guess that's what plus 10ing a weapon does for you. Plus lightning paper and all that. But anyway, other than that, the run was pretty fun, and I recommend giving it a shot. And I think if I had to choose another class but this one, it would probably be the Explorer, just for the good armor set. I feel like it's pretty solid. But anyways, Najka was like the usual. With the Bright Bug and Lightning Paper, my damage did pretty well. And really, I just had to keep rolling around her till I was able to beat her down. The curse buildup was pretty annoying, but when I saw her going to some of the orbs, I saw I had a free chance to get the finisher. So, can you beat Dark Souls 1 with only your starting equipment? Yes, you can. Should you do it? No. grab the good stuff. Enjoy the game. It's what it's there for. And if you enjoyed the suffering, feel free to watch some more videos. If not, have a good rest of your day, people.